have you ever been asked whether you need a car? Okay, what is a question like that, which is almost philosophical, doing in a financial blog? The financial blog normally should be how can you fund your car? Right, it is not the financial blog's job to question whether you need a car. That's already decided, right? You have to have a car. Now let's look at it realistically. When I see car purchases, I see 2-3 types of purchases. Those parents who could not afford a car love to push their children into buying a car, saying you must buy a car. So a kid with about 4 or 5 lakhs kind of income, which is not, couldn't call it very high, right, has recently bought a car because the father said you must buy a car. Now you have got status, so you have to buy a car. He had become some officer or something like that in a private company, and so he bought a car. The father offered to pay the down payment. Father made the down payment. Son doesn't pay anything for the lodging and boarding. Father has a pension and father had a lump sum. So father made the lump sum payment, son is paying the EMI, and they bought a car which is a slightly bigger car than what I think they would need. But his logic is, when 4-5 of us go out, we need a car, right? So this is the logic for buying a car, and I don't think as a family they thought how much it is going to cost in terms of petrol, how much it is going to cost in terms of maintenance, etc. Believe me, it's a very typical middle class, lower middle class kind of a family, and very clearly they knew that there would be expenses, but I don't think they have any idea as to how much a car can cost and how much a traffic offense can cost in terms of fines and bad parking and things like that. PUC after a couple of years and all that. So no, I don't think any thought or application has gone into their buying a car. So I have seen 3-4 kids going to college in a second-hand car or in a nano. I've seen a couple of nanos. I've seen second-hand cars where kids going to college are going by cars, and this is not in the metros, but it's in Bangalore, where the public transport is notorious. But yes, cars for going to college, which was unheard of during our times. I mean, if the family had a spare car, once in a while you could take it, but regularly going to college by car was not really a feature of the 1980s, right? It was a feature of the I think 1990s or late 90s and early 2000. Maybe it had become a feature, but going to college by car, yes, it is now visible. There are people even in non-rich and super rich families who are doing that. But how easy is it to get by in a metro like Mumbai without a car? Well, many of us get away not having a car, right? Today with Ola and Uber available, auto rickshaws and taxis available, I can still understand the metros where public transport is not good. Like in Chennai, maybe it'll take you a long time traveling by bus if you want to go from point A to point B. Whereas in Mumbai or even in Delhi, with thanks to the metro, obviously the trains and metros are faster than the cars. So saying I will reach faster, no, it doesn't make sense. Well, I have women arguing, saying it is not very great for women to travel by public transport in Delhi. Maybe not safe to travel by public transport in Mumbai. Not acceptable. I mean, I have not heard of any bad stories, but of course I'm not saying you need to hear a bad story, but largely I don't think women find it very unsafe traveling in Mumbai in public transport, given that trains have separate compartments, buses have separate seats in case, I mean, the separated seats, segregated seats are also pretty recent by Mumbai standards. So yes, I don't think that is a valid argument. But remember, less than 5% of Indians own a car, which means 95% of the population aspires to own a car. Now, when a person is a car aspirant and you tell him don't buy a car, it is like crushing his dream. What about a second-hand car? Well, unless you're a millionaire, it makes no sense to buy a new car. You should buy a second-hand car. However, car buying is more emotional and less rational. It is not very rational. So people will go to the car dealer and find out which is the best value they can get and suddenly up their car from a lower end car to a higher end car. That happens simply because the salesman speaks in a language of saying only 27,000 EMI sir, only 34,000 EMI sir. He talks about only the EMI, and believe it or not, many people who buy a car do not know the price of the car till they see the agreement and all that being delivered to them. Only then they realize, oh, 13,40,000, oh, 12,80,000. They realize it much later because they have just bought the EMI. Question is, can I afford the EMI? Okay, along with the EMI, will I have to pay a driver? Will I have to pay for petrol and all that? Yes, of course, you will have to pay for all that. So your total cost is your EMI plus driver plus petrol plus maintenance. Yeah, that's your per month cost. If you do not know how to do on a per month basis, add up all the others and just divide it by 12. That is your per month cost. The per month cost of a car is far higher than the EMI that you pay. It will at least be equal to the EMI or EMI into 1.25 over and above the EMI. That is the kind of cost that you will incur while running a car, right? So people don't think about all those things, and many a times it is completely unnecessary except for an ego thing. Then buying a car locks up your money, which means that money you can't do anything else. You will also not cut down much on travel expenses because your spouse, parents, children, etc. will continue to travel wherever they are going by auto or things like that. In fact, if they were going by bus, now they'll say no, if you can go by auto it's fine, otherwise we will go by car. So car versus bus argument does not hold anymore. It will be car versus auto, or car versus own car versus an Ola car, rather than whether to use a private transport or a public transport. Fuel prices in India are again determined by the government, so really not much of control for us. Seriously, you should consider a two-wheeler before you consider a car. In fact, two two-wheelers is better than one car, but it's your call, right? Also, when you see the price of the car and see the EMI, you know that you're paying more. So check out on how much you're paying more, what you're going to do, and how will you manage the replacement. You bought a car today, great, fantastic, but after 5 years or 6 years at worst, you will need the new car. Do you have enough money put away for replacement, or are you again going to borrow the car? That is another question for you to think about. And I do think you should consider a second-hand car. And but the problem is, second-hand car with your own money looks good, but second-hand car with bank's money looks very difficult because they raise the interest rates. Thank you.